Joining us is Politico White House reporter Matthew Nussbaum. Matthew, thank you so much for being with us. Quickly, the Justice Department warned the White House about Flynn last month. So what happened between then and yesterday that we've been able to derive?
That's the big question. They're saying that Donald Trump wanted to give the White House counsel's office time to review the matter and see if anything illegal had been done. And once they had concluded that nothing illegal had been done, he still came to the conclusion that Flynn had to go because Flynn no longer had the trust of Vice President Mike Pence, because obviously Flynn told Vice President Mike Pence that he had not discussed sanctions when, of course, we know now that he had. Pence repeated that statement on TV, and that's where that issue came up.
Matt, if there was nothing illegal in those calls with Russia, why did General Flynn misinform others in the White House?
So that's the big question. He's saying that he didn't intend to mislead anyone, that it's just a matter of faulty memory. Still, that obviously wasn't a good enough answer for Pence and others who lost trust with him. It's also important to note it's the White House counsel's office here who's saying that nothing illegal was done. There hasn't been an independent investigation. We haven't heard the Justice Department's conclusion about the nature of these calls and whether or not that was illegal. It's just the White House at this point saying that it was legal.
Retired General Kellogg is filling in as acting national security advisor. What can you tell us about him and finding an official replacement? We know Sean Spicer said he's very well qualified and that the president has full faith in Mr. Kellogg. But what do we know moving forward?
So Kellogg was an early supporter of Trump on the campaign trail, so he was a natural fit. He was already on the National Security Council to step in to lead that. So he's not thought of as someone who will likely be the long-term replacement. David Petraeus, the former general and CIA director, is seen as one possibility. Also, Vice Admiral Robert Harward, who has a very close relationship with Defense Secretary James Mattis, is seen as another possibility to fill that role.
Matt, some Democrats and still some Republicans are calling for an independent investigation. I want to play what Chuck Schumer had to say about it today.
There needs to be an independent and transparent investigation because the White House knew for weeks that General Flynn misled the vice president, and that his discussion about sanctions with the Russian government could potentially compromise our national security because he was subject to blackmail.
So, Matt, are you hearing from anyone on the Hill that they may actually consider an independent investigation?
Well, I think Democrats smell blood in the water here. I think they see a real political opening to make hay out of this. They've already seen Flynn's head roll. I think there's some hope amongst them that they could see some more upheaval in the administration here. But there are some Republicans who are joining Democrats in the call for at least further investigation of this issue, if not, an independent prosecutor or anything that far. There are Republican Senators, Lindsey Graham among them, who are saying there needs to be further investigation of this situation and, more broadly, the Trump campaign's ties with the Russian regime.
You did write today that Mike Flynn's son is blaming all of this on a disinformation campaign. What can you tell us?
Well, his son did make that. His son and former advisor made that statement on Twitter. He later deleted that tweet, but he was obviously trying to say that this was not his father's fault, but the fault of some other forces and a disinformation campaign. That flies in the face of what the White House is saying, which is that it was Flynn's misleading of Mike Pence that led to his fall here.
All right, Matthew Nussbaum from Politico. Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thanks, guys.